Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. I'm your host, Sharon Vornholt, and I'm so happy you're tuning in today. Have you ever wondered if there's a way to increase your results from your direct mail campaigns, specifically from your probate direct mail campaigns? Is there a way to maximize those dollars spent? I'll bet you have, because direct mail is a long-term game. And today I want to talk about how to close more of these deals by creating not only a great experience for these folks, but a memorable experience at every interaction. It's about finding genuine ways to make their life easier during the process, and doing this with all of the skills and the knowledge that you have about probates. It also involves following a proven process for probate direct mail marketing. And we'll dive into that today too. So number one, understand that this all begins with mindset. It begins with your mindset and understanding that you are here to help them through this time in their life with the sale of the property. As you know, during the probate process, if there's a property in probate that has not been directly inherited, they're going to need to sell the property. And this is a time when they've got a lot on their plate. So any way that we can make their job easier, make it go more smoothly, they're on board with that. Now, when it comes to their mindset, there's no doubt you have to understand that they've had a loss in their family, but this does not negate the fact that they have to complete this legal process. And this is where you can really differentiate yourself from the average investor. There's a psychology behind why all of this works. And once you understand the big picture, you'll be much better equipped to jump in and help these people. Direct mail, your direct mail piece is the first impression for both you and your business that they will get. So they're going to carry this forward, and it's important that you get this right. It's important that you're using the right mail piece. That I believe very strongly you need to use a white computer-generated letter that is mail merged with their information. They need to know that you are writing to them. You're not just sending a bunch of letters randomly, but you are genuinely eager to help them in this situation. So that's the first thing. And the words matter in this letter. And I'm not going to go into all the words, because I'm going to tell you how you can get a copy of a probate letter, and the actual probate letter that I've always used in my business. You can get that in my probate investing starter kit. And I'll tell you how to get that letter. But the gist of the letter is, this is how I can help you. This is who I am, and this is how I can help you. And I'll be here and I'll be ready to help when you're ready to sell. There's no getting there first with probates. There's no hard sell with probates. These folks move at their own pace. So understand that. Now, you can start mailing these people about the middle of the probate process. When they have opened the probate, they are raising their hand to say, I'm ready to sell the property. There are a few things that happen before that. The decision maker will be appointed. It's either the executor or the administrator, jointly called the personal representative. But once that's been done and that paperwork is taken care of, they've determined if it's a valid will and all of those things that you don't have to worry about. This is all attorney stuff. Once they've opened the estate, then you can start mailing to these folks. Once we have a decision maker, once the executor is certified, or there's a personal representative that's been appointed. But what you want to do, and this is very important, you want to set up a nurture campaign. You want to set this up so that they don't feel pressured in any way, because you're building rapport with your direct mail. You're building a know, like, and trust situation. They're going to get to know you through your marketing, through your direct mail piece, and any other things that you're doing at this particular time. If you do this right, they will begin to like you. They will like the way you're handling this. And that goes to the next point, the trust part. Understand that with each interaction, you are building the know, like, and trust factor. And this is where you get a chance to stand out from the pack. And you do that, you stand out from the pack through your knowledge of probates and through your understanding of what they're going through. And your direct mail piece, your direct mail campaigns in total are a reflection of how they will perceive you. So the first piece of the puzzle is through your letters, your direct mail piece. Now, the second place where you really get a chance to stand out and become memorable is when you get the call. They will call you from your direct mail piece. They could also be calling because they've stumbled across your website. That's a whole nother conversation, but your website should point out that you are a probate investing expert, among other things. I don't think you need a probate investing website that's just probate. If you're doing other types of deals, other types of off-market deals too. But you get a chance to showcase your expertise on your website, so that once they call you, whether it's from your letter or from your website, this is your chance you get to stand out. Now, it's important that you gather the information about the property. So I always recommend that you use a property information sheet, whether it's one I have or whether it's a different one, it doesn't matter. You want to get all of the information and put all of your notes in one place. And you will use this information throughout this entire process when you're talking to the people in charge of selling the property, right down to the closing. Keep copious notes. That will serve you very well. And one of the things that will help you with is understanding family dynamics. They'll often make comments about family dynamics. So put everything on your property information form. Now, you want to find out about the property as much as you can on that call before you go out to look at the property, and try to determine what solution are they looking for. Are they in distress? Maybe there's a mortgage payment that has to be made. Maybe that's part of the distress they're in. Or if there's some other distress, then they tell you about it. So what solution are they looking for? Sure, they're looking to sell the property, but what else is going on in their life and in this estate that has to do with this estate? So see if you can have a conversation with them where they will tell you things. So ask them open-ended questions. Once you know what solution they're looking for, maybe they've told you the house is in pristine condition, we want full price. That's going to be an MLS sale. There's no point you looking at that property. But if they tell you the house needs a lot of work, they're looking for full price, that's a whole different conversation. And this is the point where you can begin to change their expectations about the outcome here. And you do this through asking thoughtful questions. Well, how did you come up with this process? Because you've made it clear in your direct mail letter that you are a real estate investor and you're there to help them by buying their property. You're not going to list the property unless you are also an agent and you're coming at this from the agent side, which I cover both of these scenarios in my course, Probate Investing Simplified. So if you are an agent or an agent investor, just know that there is a ton of opportunity for you here. So back to changing their expectations, you need to know what is it they really want out of this. And if that's unrealistic, you can ask them questions like, how did you arrive at this price? It doesn't seem like you factored in all the repairs that need to be done and that sort of thing. But you want to plant the seed that they're not going to get a full price offer on a property that needs a lot of work, that needs a lot of repairs and updates. So this is something that you can weave into the conversation without seeming pushy. You can weave it in a way that seems helpful to them to understand the direction they need to go. Now, circle back if you need to. You should have asked when you were first talking to them, who's in charge here? Who's involved in this process? Who is the executor or the administrator? You may be talking to a person that's an heir. They may not be in this at all. It could be an attorney. It could be a family member that's just close to the property and is willing to show the property even though it's going to be sold to an investor. And that's fine. But you need to know who the players are here. So if you don't know that already, this is your time to circle back and ask direct questions. Who is the executor or the administrator? That is the person that can sign on the dotted line when it comes to a sales and purchase contract. So have your contact information down for the people you're talking to, but also know who it is you eventually need to talk to and present your offer to. So get as much information as you can, not only about the property, but about the family dynamics. They'll tell you if there's family drama typically. They'll say something like, we are all on board with selling the property except for my sister. She wants full price. She doesn't understand this process. And you know that you're going to have a conversation with the sister. Now, this could be something different than holding them up. Oftentimes, elderly people find themselves in the position where they have code violations. They haven't been able to keep the property up. So that might be something they tell you. I have a $3,000 lien on the property. I didn't know about it till my parents passed away, but it's from the code enforcement. Your answer is, we can take care of that. We can factor that into our offer. Maybe it's back taxes. Maybe they haven't paid their taxes for a couple of years, or there's some other type of lien on the property, something that is holding them back. They're roadblocks. These are all stumbling blocks that are solvable problems. So any and as much information as you can find out on the phone leaves you better prepared when you get your third chance to be memorable, which is when you get the appointment. Your goal should always be, of course, like any other real estate deals, to get the appointment to go look at the property. Now, we're back again to the property information sheet. Take that with you. You should have gotten some general information about the property, about the ages of the major systems, and all of the things you would normally do for any type of a deal. This is all stuff that you need to get nailed down. So look at that. Look for your notes that you made about family dynamics. And remember that this relationship started with, in most cases, with a direct mail letter. So you're moving this process forward in a very organic way that is not pushy in any way. So show up prepared to see the property. Show up with the information that you've gotten from the person you talked to, so that you know how to structure the conversation going forward. Now, when you arrive at the property, and I've talked about this a lot of times, use visual clues to start the conversation. Look around and see what's visible in the house. It might be, and we're talking about the deceased property. What is there in the way of something that might be considered a hobby for the person that passed away? I often say maybe it's golf clubs or tennis rackets. Maybe the dad was an athlete and maybe in his younger years, but he's still got the golf clubs there. Maybe it was the mom. She was a homemaker, a cook. Maybe she has sewing machines and stacks of material sitting around. It doesn't matter. Use those things as visual clues to start a conversation about the family. They will not think this is odd, and they will be happy to talk about this person. I would go so far as to say they almost have a need to talk about this person that's passed away. And your job is to listen, and really listen without interrupting. So often when you talk to someone, they're waiting for you to take a breath so that they can jump in and tell their version or their story or what they want next, when that is very possibly the absolute worst thing that you could do. So when you're talking to any seller, you should be listening completely without interruptions to what they have to say. Have a little bit of a delay and then take up the conversation when you're through, that they have finished, you're sure that they have finished talking. This is a respect thing. It makes them respect you for giving them the chance to have this conversation, for not interrupting them, for not trying to move it along in a hurry because you've got somewhere else to be. So show up prepared, use visual clues to see the property. And then if you can't reach an agreement, now back to the letter, you made it plain that you were an investor. So they know that you're not there to give them top dollar for a property that they should be listing on the MLS. So if you can't come to some sort of understanding or agreement, simply ask them, what's holding you back? What are the roadblocks that I might help remove for you? And then stop talking and just listen and see what they say. You want to find out how you can make it easier for them to move forward with their life. And you can even say that. What do you need from me? What do you need from me so that we can get this sale done, so that you can take all of these worries off your mind, and then you can move forward with your life? Don't rush through this process, because this will often make or break whether or not you get the property. It's not always about the dollar amount. These people need to feel seen and heard and understood. And this all truly does start with the first way you present yourself and your business, and how you can help them through the direct mail, with the starting piece of the direct mail letter. It all begins there. And then you get the opportunities to create a memorable experience. Now, number 4 would be follow-up. This is the 4th chance you get to be memorable. Understand that 80% of your deals will come from follow-up, many of those after the seller has said no to your offer. That's a lot, 80%. How many times did you, along this path of real estate investing, just take a no as a no? I know I did early on. I learned pretty fast that no means not now. So if they say yes and you are able to put together a deal, you still don't want to forget to make the rest of this process memorable for them. Show up at the closing, shake their hand, make an impression on them so that you get future referrals. Now, if they say no to your original offer, remember that means not now. So number 1, put them back into your direct mail campaign as a follow-up campaign. After you've talked to them, you want to send them a little bit different letter, the same type of letter, but I met with you. We talked about your property. I understand you're in a situation that may take you a while to get this resolved. You're back to understanding their mindset, to understanding where they are today. So I always like to get permission. In other words, tell them after they've said no that you'd like to follow up. Maybe their plan A will work out fine, but you'd love the opportunity to be plan B. Folks, they will say it's okay in almost every instance, but do them the courtesy. Leave this memorable impression where you said, I'd like to follow up with you in case this doesn't work out for you, your plan A. Is that okay with you? Then you can put them back in your direct mail campaign. You can text them. It's also okay to call them once they have reached out to you and you've talked to them. So you can decide on how you want to follow up. I like to follow up a little bit more aggressively the first week. Try to get it nailed down before they forget who you are. You can also follow up with text. If nothing happens in a few weeks, put them back on your direct mail campaign and your follow-up campaign. How you interact with these folks all through this first part of this process will likely determine whether you're able to eventually buy the property. Like I said, don't assume that the lowest offer will be the determining factor for them. Your goal should be, and it has to be, to solve their problem and create a bridge from where they are today, which is unhappy and stuck and overwhelmed, usually not knowing which way to turn. So you create a bridge from where they are to where they want to go. And that is, to have the property off their plate and then move forward with settling the estate. And they want a way to cross this bridge that's easy, that's painless. And if you do this right, they'll be happy to write you a testimonial. They'll be happy to say on a video, I am so glad that I worked with this company, with this person. They will become your biggest fan and they will refer other people to you. But at the very least, even if you're not able to put a deal together, even if that happens, you will have left an impression on them that just will stay with them over the long term. And folks, you never know where your next deal is going to come from when it comes to referrals. Now, I've got a couple things I want to leave you with here. Number one is what we're trying to do here is create sort of a scenario that's raving fans. You want people to become raving fans of what you do, how you help people. So there's a book by that name called Raving Fans by Ken Blanchard. I highly recommend it. It's a little book. I've written about it before on the blog. You can use this book in many ways in your business. But if you go at this process always wanting to leave people with a memorable experience, this book will serve you well. Another book that I always recommend is Mike Michalowicz's book, Get Different: Marketing That Can't Be Ignored. We talked about direct mail and a lot of other things when I had Mike on the podcast, and I'll link to that episode because it was a great episode. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't tell you, if you want to be a probate investing expert, hey, take a look at my course, Probate Investing Simplified, at probateinvestingsimplified.com. You can also get my freebie, which includes a sample probate letter, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's called my Probate Investing Starter Kit. And you get that at probateinvestingsimplified.com/starter kit. If you have any problems with any of this, just reach out to me, Sharon at SharonVornholt.com. And I hope you found this show helpful. This is not only about probates, this is about all types of marketing. If you are to become the go-to trusted resource, you have to be able to stand out from the crowd, and you can't be the best kept secret in town. That's my marketing tip of the day, my marketing and branding tip. So work on how you deliver this experience to people, and it will serve you well. Well, that's it for today. Let me know if you have any questions, Sharon at SharonVornholt.com, and I will see you all at the same time, same place next week. Bye for now.